Which cheap and mass-produced item is stupendously well engineered? The humble corrugated cardboard box. It's lightweight, strong, splash resistant, somewhat padded, doesn't break down in heat cold, scratch resistant, recyclable, biodegradable and able to be assembled cheaply into any size. The basic design has existed for over 150 years. The retail shipping industry runs on cardboard boxes. The zipper. It's a very cheap mechanism that secures objects in a very neat fashion. No wonder it's used in most objects that need to be opened and closed, such as luggage and jackets. Not exactly cheap, but I'm impressed that I can have a ceiling fan run on high for 15 years straight and not have it explode on me. I seriously startled myself when I realized the only time my ceiling fan had been off since I moved in was when the power went out. Toilets. They use nothing more than gravity to reliably flush. Doesn't use power at all. And if you've ever used a poorly engineered toilet, you really learn to appreciate the well-engineered ones. Edit. Never would have expected my most upvoted comment on Reddit to be about toilets. The lighter. Spontaneously ignite fire basically whenever you want. Specifically, Bic lighters are incredibly reliable. You can find one on the ground that's been outside for months and they still work. Cheaper disposables break in a million ways and more expensive refillable lighters will leave you disappointed if you store them. But you can always keep a Bic handy and know it'll work when you need it. The transistor. I remember how amazed we were in 1985 to see a chip with 68,000 transistors. Now they're at 68 billion. LEDs. Cheap diodes. Even colors. Okay, I dislike the blue ones but tint them and you get warm white. Blue LEDs are a Nobel Prize winning invention for how revolutionary they have been in lighting. Toilets. I've been a plumber 20 years and very little has changed. Or needed to. Minimal upkeep. Cheap and easy repair. Very long life. Hey, so what is the difference between my house toilet that just flushes like regular and a commercial toilet in like a doctor's building where if you flush it will also suck the clothing right off you? Is there a pressure regulator behind the toilet or something? Ball bearings. Even the cheapest ball bearings with the loosest tolerances are still made in the 1050 micron range of tolerance. It only gets better from there. A back spec anyways. Edit. When I say ball bearings I'm loosely referring to the races and rolling elements of any roller element bearing. Ball, taper, needle, cylinder, etc. 2 races. 1 race no race, etc. The ballpoint pen. Clearly. Give credit to the inventor, Laszlo Biro. He escaped the Nazis, invented the pen, then got ripped off and never made money. The aluminium beverage can. https://yahoo. Bihuhasi toothbow. Serious upgrade when they engineered the pop top to remain with the can. Batteries are marvels of engineering packed tightly into a minuscule canister. Even AA batteries are incredibly sophisticated internally. I saw a video of someone take apart a lithium energizer battery the other day, and it looks like cotton balls and folded foil just all jammed together. Like someone figured out how to harness so much energy into that thing. Edit. This is my most popular comment. It's me admitting that I can barely tie my shoes. And here are people just casually throwing atoms together to make my car go zoom. Glass bottles. And X200B. Let's melt this rock into a clear, brittle material and turn it into what? Windows? Decorations? Screens? No. We're making pressure vessels, baby. Zip ties. Such a simple piece of plastic but so versatile. I have one of the old-fashioned chain link fences. Some of the fasteners on the middle poles broke and in high winds the fence was swaying like crazy. A half dozen zip ties on the 3 posts and it doesn't budge and nobody even knows they're there. My son rebuilt the front of his car with them time and again. He's a genius with a zip tie. With not hitting the car in front of him. Not so much. Metal pencil sharpeners, the manual kind. Not electric. Don't buy the plastic ones in the school supply section. Go to the art section. Those metal sharpeners are choice. I have a Blackwing 2-stage sharpener. I could do surgery with a pencil sharpened with it. The Intermodal shipping container. Okay, the Connect box. There are millions of the damn things all over the world. In use every single day. They are stackable. Can be locked together. Attach readily to ships, truck trailer frames, and rail cars. and can bear enormous loads. The cost of their manufacture compared to their economic use value over their useful lives is next to nothing. Screws. Can you imagine what would happen if all the screws suddenly disappeared from world? Everything would fall apart. We would be screwed. Road reflectors. Countless lives saved. Similarly, rumble strips. On the shoulders and in the center. I'm sure they've saved my dad's life many times over. Matches. Quartz movement clocks. You can literally pick one up for £2. 50 here. https://www.ikea.com GBNP trauma wall clock white 80,454,290. https://www.ikea.com GBNP trauma wall clock white 80,454,290. The technology and gearing that goes into its functions is well worth the costs. I'm a certified master watchmaker. I restore 18th and 19th century pocket watches. Have always appreciated the quartz movement despite the fact that it wiped out 99% of the watchmaking jobs. If you need a watch for accuracy, get a quartz movement. It'll be more accurate than a $10,000 mechanical movement. Bic pens. And lighters. And the most stolen items. Soda beer cans. The design has existed for decades with few changes. It's a way of using a relatively small amount of cheap metal to withstand the pressure of carbonated beverages with a reliable opening mechanism. During pandemic I also noticed that some companies stopped using thicker material on the upper ridge of the can. Probably due to supply shortages. They instead used a sort of step system that appeared to be almost as strong. Every few years you will see the can design change as they find additional areas to reduce the use of aluminum. You can still find newly manufactured cans in the old designs in some of the more remote areas with less demand. Like Hawaii. It's cheaper to create and fill cans on the island than import them. But the payback from updating to the newest can forming machines isn't quite there for the volume of cans they manufacture. So they get hand-me-downs and cast-offs. Tarps. A million tasks for them. They're incredibly versatile. Make a shelter. Make a floor. Make a carriage vessel. Make a weatherproof housing for firewood or anything outdoors you want protected. Use it at a picnic. It's better than a blanket on the ground. Because of the threading they're still mostly effective even when a tear develops. And because of that same threading they can distribute weight and hold up against snow and rain buildup. Then you can just take it down. Spray it with a hose if needed. It's good as new. Fold it up to a compact form. And toss it in a corner until you need it next. You are never far from a store or gas station that sells them for cheap. Always keep one in your trunk. Velcro. Soda cans. The level of engineering in the average soda can is absolutely mind-blowing. Injection molded stuff like plastic ball valves. Stuff we don't think about, but is amazingly good and cheap. https://www.youtube.com watch V=I=4FSX4. Lego. When's the last time you got 2 bricks that didn't fit? Or that were loose? TBF Lego is actually quite expensive as far as toys go. But I like their manufacturing tolerance is literally tighter than some components used by NASA, and in theory the first ever brick manufactured would work with one manufactured today. Tough question. I'd say stainless steel cutlery. How many other things in life are used almost every day? Then machine washed, thrown haphazardly into a drawer and regularly survive in a working condition for much more than a century. Yeah, if you get proper 18/10 stainless steel flatware, that shit will legit last a lifetime. It is a little more expensive. And usually you're gonna see a lot of 18/0 stuff that's often half the price in stores that'll be more tempting. But if you can afford it, I highly recommend going for the proper 18/10 stuff. Oneida is a solid brand in my experience that has some good stuff and that quality. Clothespins pegs. The wooden ones. People keep on trying to find some other way to do the job but never come up with something this durable and reliable. The missus keeps buying plastic ones which degrade in the sun and shatter left, right, and center all over the garden. A doorknob and a lock. Not that they don't have their flaws, but I'd have a hard time making something that works that reliably that frequently. I really like big products. Lighters, ballpoint pens, razor blades, etc. They're all very robust despite being cheap mass-produced plastic items. Until this moment, I had never connected that these big products were all from the same company. Amazing that they've produced a variety of incredibly cheap but still reasonable quality items. A red brick. And they are remarkably similar in shape and size to bricks made thousands of years ago. It's just the right size to handle. As a new parent. Diapers. Disposable diapers in particular. Imagine being told as an engineer, you need to design a device to contain the vilest, grossest materials known to man. Both liquids and goopy solids. This device must have 3 tight seals against a constantly moving and wiggling life form of inconsistent size. Said life form has notoriously delicate skin, so the materials you can use are drastically limited. It must be able to be removed and installed in seconds by amateurs running on approximately 14 minutes of sleep. And it has to cost about 30 cents a unit. Hard drives. Fucking spinning glass disks that hold terabytes of data. Yep, this is the one where I really think they engineered that to hell. The heads fly microns above the platters on a cushion of air. In newer drives. Helium. The precision of the voice coils in aligning the heads. The DSP circuitry to process the signal that should be noise. And modern hard disks have to warm the area they write with a laser so it'll hold the magnetic charge. They spin for years. And are surprisingly fast. Absolutely incredible. Legos. Virtually indestructible through normal means. Last forever. Extremely simple. Endlessly versatile. And now they are manufactured with recycled plastic. The Lego Group is also the world's largest manufacturer of car tires in the world. And a new Lego brick today will work with old bricks built decades ago. Jerry can. https://yahoo. Beeswax. Schrader Valve. Just think of the number of those in service every day, from the most simple to complex pieces of machinery. And where we would be without them. That's what's in the valve stem on your car or bike tires. In case anyone is wondering. They are used for lots of applications. Those containers used to store Chinese food. They are durable, compact, keep the food hot, and don't really leak. They also collapse into a plate if you choose to. My favorite thing might be they don't take up much space in the rubbish bin either. Great product, and must cost less than a cent. Those thermic isolated cups you see construction workers drinking from. You can't say Stanley or Yeti is just junk after trying it out. Hinges. I had to study on them for my engineering class. I bet that bit of work opened some doors for you. The humble monoblock chair. Commonly known as those white plastics chairs you can find absolutely everywhere in the world. So called because they're made from a single piece of plastic. With no need for assembly. Their geometry allows you to use just one mold to make them. Just inject the plastic. Open the mold. And a whole chair comes out fully formed. The same geometric properties also make them so easily stackable. Manual can opener. Which came out like 100 years after the can. What a bitch it must have been eating canned food. The brick. Made out of mud and lasts for centuries in the way it can distribute load for large buildings. Whistle. For a few cents. You can be heard in the middle of nowhere for nearly a mile. Much louder than your voice. Great if you are lost. Rubber bands. Paperclip. Carabiners. Cheap. Easy to use. Super useful for just about anything. And the higher grade ones, 30-ish USD, can hold up a truck. What else needs to be said? Computer processors. They're rocks we tricked into thinking. Deleted. The Wonder Bar. It's a crowbar. The Wonder Bra. Provides equally important leverage. Mechanical pencils and their leads. Consistent size of the most fragile thing you've ever seen. Shipped all over the world. Anything Bic makes is a marvel. Plunger. Actually, egg cartons and milk jugs. Egg cartons are super cheap and absolutely best way to store eggs. Milk jugs feel cheap and flimsy, but they are designed to deform and absorb the shock of a drop. Milk jugs have been annoying me in recent years. A number of brands have gone to this super thin design now, and every time I grab the handle to pick it up it just feels way less secure. Paper clips. Never saw a defective one. Soviet paper clips would rust and leave smudges on the paper. Box wine spouts. They flat out don't leak. Not even a drop. The second you release the button, that's it. Impressive tolerances for such a cheap product. Everything about boxed wine. The box itself nearly indestructible. The bag and spout are super durable and the wine itself, dependent upon brand OFC, is good for the price point. The boxed wine I get usually costs a little less than 2 bottles but has the equivalent of 4 bottles. Casio F91W. While not actually engineered, I've always thought of blankets like this. They automatically custom fit themselves to every user and self-regulate heat. They're extremely cheap to manufacture while also being incredibly resilient to damage. They require nearly zero operation instruction regardless of user language proficiency or intelligence. And all with no energy usage whatsoever. From a product design standpoint, I find it difficult to come up with anything better or more of a perfect fit to its purpose. The materials have changed a bit, but the basic design is pretty much the same for all of human history, across all cultures, in the same length of time. We've gone from pointed sticks to jet fighters, and the blanket remains almost unchanged. The screw. People say the wheel was the great invention but everyone forgets about the screw. And I mean the abstract concept, thereby including drills, water pumps and so on. Tires. They are a part of the vehicle's suspension, displace water, take serious loads in multiple directions and work across a large temperature range. The engineering and material science behind them is fascinating, and they take an absolute beating for years. Think of the surfaces that tires run on, and still hold up. Hi, I do clinical engineering tech work on research equipment. The Drummond pipette is easily my winner. We've got original ones that require very little maintenance and when it does break, the parts are so replaceable our researchers don't miss a beat. The company produces the same original parts and it's super easy to work on. Lego brick separator. Also work great for cleaning removing keys from mechanical keyboard. I have very brittle nails, carpal tunnel, and poor fine motor control. Those separators are a lifesaver for me. The shipping container. It's cheap for what it is, works miraculously well, and has significantly increased the standard of living for almost every human on Earth. Also, the wooden pallet. They may not be cheap, but they are strong as hell. Bipolar junction transistors. Ziploc bags. Hills hoist. The jerry can. They are insanely strong as well as stackable. So many cool design features on them. Post-its. We had some chemical engineers from the post-it division of R&D at 3 meters come into my high school chemistry class. The amount of work in creating a layer of adhesive that is effective and stays on the note so it can be reused without leaving residue behind is insane. There's actually 4 different compounds that are layered into the back of a post-it with the final adhesive being microscopic droplets spaced a precise distance apart so that there's no excess. The S-bend in your toilet. Rice cookers. Perfect rice every time. For as little as $5. Cotton buds. Everyone knows what you shouldn't do with them, but the shape says otherwise. Condoms. I'd say the Raspberry Pi and probably more fundamentally the Pi 02W. It's dirt cheap at $15 and is a fully fledged computer. Binder clips. The Casio F91W. Waterproof. Battery lasts a decade. Tells time and date accurately. Has alarms and even a, sort of crappy, light. All for about $15. Kikkoman soy sauce dispenser. Never drips and has won design awards. Junk food. Made with garbage. But the taste has been perfected between fatness, sweetness and saltiness to leave you always wanting more. The pencil.